Welcome back, theorists, to the Science Theorist. Today we will be discussing earthquakes. Now, in recent history, in the last 2 or so weeks, there have been 2 major earthquakes that have hurt and killed many people. The first one I will be discussing is the earthquake that hit southern Italy. This quake, as of now, has killed 159 people, and rescuers are still racing to find more people. Now, in the early hours of August 25th, 2016, a massive earthquake destroyed parts of central and southern Italy, leaving 159 people dead and devastating several mountain villages. There is a video on this website called Silence Daily. There will be a link in the description below. In central Italy, there's a large mountain range called the Apennines. Within that mountain range, there is a very long and deep fault line. That fault line had a rupture and caused the 2 plates to shift upward. Now, what is an earthquake? An earthquake is a sudden and violent shaking of the ground, sometimes caused by a great destruction, as in some cases, people destroying excess buildings that were left there and aren't being used anymore. These giant tremors and shocks can cause the plates underneath them to start shifting and having disruptness, which in some cases, like in the case of Italy, caused the plate to shift upward, causing a large earthquake, which killed many people. Now in New Zealand, as of today actually, the time of this recording, which is September 1st, there was not an earthquake, but there are aftershocks off the coast of New Zealand. Now, off the coast of East Cape, there was an earthquake about 150 kilometers outside in the ocean, and the earthquake struck actually Friday morning. Early of that morning, because where I live, it's still Thursday. A swarm of aftershocks plagued New Zealand and caused huge destruction on East Cape and other surrounding areas. Rescuers are still trying to find any people that have survived after the New Zealand earthquake. Now we can see here that fault lines are on the edges of continents and don't actually really run through any major parts of continents. At least these are the major ones. There are smaller ones that are not very active that do run through continents, and usually don't have any major earthquakes. Now scientists believe this because most of all the continents originally formed Pangea, and this is why they believe that fault lines are on the edges of continents, where they kind of connected to other continents to form the supercontinent. Now, this is where they believe the massive fault lines are. Now, most of these fault lines you can see, like here, Russia, New Zealand, South Asian Sea, Central Greece, they're all over the world. Now, why exactly did these fault lines form? This is because the different fault lines form after tectonic plates start shifting a little bit. They create fault lines, and after those fault lines are created, there's constant tension. The fault lines are known as places where earthquakes strike continuously and strike one after another. Now, in California, they actually have earthquakes almost once every 3 minutes, but they're small. Usually, most of the earthquakes are less than even 2 on the Richter scale. Now, each number on the Richter scale is 10 times the number below. So if we have a 1 on the Richter scale, that's a very small earthquake. But a 2 on the Richter scale is 10 times worse, and you keep going up and up. Now, the largest ever earthquake was a 9.5 that struck Chile in the early 1900s, early 20th century. The second largest was a 9.3. Now, we usually don't ever get those. the most common that we get those is once every 150 years. So we're basically waiting for another one to strike anytime soon. Most of the larger ones are usually about 6 to 7 on the Richter scale, which are very large and are city-destroying earthquakes. Now, I don't know if any of you have watched the movie San Andreas, by the way. Awesome movie. I recommend it. In the movie, a supposed 9.6 strikes the fault line in California, which makes it the largest earthquake ever. Now, scientists actually saw the movie, or at least read reviews, and said, "Yup, not gonna happen." The tsunami that supposedly struck California was 150 feet tall or something. Huge! And you can see at the end, of course, The Rock says, "We rebuild," which is the most iconic thing I've ever heard him say, besides, of course, other movies. So, I love when he says that, and it just zooms out and it shows the part of California that's like 10 miles off of the rest of the state, which is very cool, but unpredictable. It can happen though. Scientists have theorized that potentially a fault line, if a massive earthquake does strike up the entire base of the fault line, it could cause the other half of it to break. Not necessarily break completely off, but break away. My prayers to the people in Italy and New Zealand. I hope that they find their families, or if they've lost anyone, that they're okay. Thank you for watching this video. Please like the video, subscribe if you want to see more videos, and comment below. Well, that's about to wrap it up. Here comes the explosion.